In 2017, laptops were getting thinner, faster, and more disposable. Apple bet big on butterfly keyboards, Dell chased bezel-less screens, and the entire industry seemed obsessed with shaving millimeters. But in the shadows, Lenovo's ThinkPad T470 was doing something radical. It refused to compromise. This wasn't a laptop for coffee shops, it was a machine built for war zones, boardrooms, and IT departments that demanded a keyboard you could type on for 10 hours straight. 8 years later, the T470 isn't just a relic, it's a time capsule, a reminder of when laptops had ports, upgrades, and batteries you could swap on a flight. But does this corporate legend still hold up in 2025, or is it just nostalgia bait? Let's find out. In 2017, the laptop market was focused on creating ultra-thin and lightweight laptops that prioritized portability and style, led by Apple's MacBook Air and Pro models and Dell's XPS 13. These laptops were designed to be sleek and portable, but this focus on thinness came at a cost. Apple's butterfly keyboard, which was introduced in 2015, had become a standard feature in many of Apple's laptops. However, by 2017, users were experiencing reliability issues with the keyboard, such as stuck keys and problems with dust getting under the keys. This led to a backlash from professionals who valued durability and functionality over sleek design. Ultrabooks in general prioritized sleek design and slim profiles over practicality. They often used soldered RAM, which couldn't be upgraded or replaced, and non-upgradable storage, which limited the user's ability to add more storage capacity. They also had minimalist ports, often only featuring USB-C, which limited the user's ability to connect peripherals. The Lenovo ThinkPad T470 was a laptop that bucked the trend of ultra-thin designs, instead prioritizing functionality and reliability. It was designed for IT departments, corporate users, and professionals who valued reliability, repairability, and legacy compatibility over thinness. The T470 had several key features that made it appealing to these users. Dual batteries, which provided all-day runtime and allowed users to work without worrying about running out of power. MIL-SPEC tested durability, which meant that the laptop was designed to withstand drops, spills, and extreme temperatures. A wide range of ports, including Ethernet, USB-A, HDMI, and Thunderbolt 3, which made it easy to connect peripherals and accessories. The ThinkPad brand was created by IBM in 1992, and it quickly became known for its iconic models. The 700 was the first ThinkPad to feature the trackpoint, a small joystick-like mouse that allowed users to navigate the cursor without having to move their hands from the keyboard. The 701 introduced the butterfly keyboard, an innovative design that allowed the keyboard to fold up and fit inside the laptop.
Probably the most unusual and I think in some ways clever laptop I ever reviewed.
IBM's design philosophy for ThinkPads was focused on function over form. The laptops were designed to be black and boxy, with a focus on durability and reliability rather than aesthetics. This approach helped to establish ThinkPads as a trusted brand among corporate users. Also, ThinkPads have been used aboard the International Space Station since 1998. However, in 2005, Lenovo acquired IBM's PC division, including the ThinkPad brand. There were concerns that Lenovo would change the ThinkPad's DNA and lose the brand's identity. However, Lenovo made a conscious effort to preserve the core elements that made ThinkPads great. Lenovo continued to focus on the keyboard feel, which was legendary for its tactile feedback and key travel. The trackpoint, also known as the red nipple mouse, was also retained, as it was beloved by power users. Additionally, Lenovo continued to offer modularity with swappable batteries, RAM, and storage. The T-Series, which was introduced in 2000, became the gold standard for business laptops. The laptops were widely adopted by governments, universities, and Fortune 500 companies, which standardized on the T-Series for their IT departments. The T470 today doesn't look too bad considering its age. It has signs of wear and tear, but the hinges feel sturdy. Although one of the laptop's main points of praise is that it has the ability to use two batteries. In this case, it doesn't have one. The external battery is missing, and in place of the optional internal one, there is just a dummy block. That's how I bought it, but I don't think it's a problem. It was cheaper this way, the laptop can be used with the power adapter plugged in, and batteries can always be purchased. Now let's boot it up. The brain of the laptop is a 7th gen Intel Core i5 CPU, which provides the processing power. T470 was offered with 6th or 7th gen Intel Core CPUs, but all of them are dual-core, quad-thread, with the differences being in the clock speeds and updated graphics in the newer generation of CPUs. I have installed a brand new SSD, which is a PCIe Gen 3.0. The speed of the SSD should be enough for this config. The boot time is fast and opening a few Chrome tabs is fine. 25 websites to be more precise. Switching between the tabs is fine. The 16 gigs of RAM in this config are helping. Maybe I underestimated the laptop's capabilities a little. It's not that old after all. And it uses a brand new SSD even though with Windows 11. As I pondered which sites to test, I realized just how many flavors Pepsi offers. Not that it matters, but I had to check for the science. The 4K YouTube playback is fine, although 1080p or even 720p is enough for this screen. Another modern workflow are the Zoom meetings. Again, the T470 handles fine this task. I guess it will be fine for small coding projects too. And you can always remove the Windows 11 and install a light Linux distro. Regarding gaming, this hardware is not suitable for demanding games, but it can handle casual, low-requirement games like Faster Than Light, Into the Breach or Bloons TD. It's enough to relax for a few minutes. The built-in graphics here are Intel HD 620 with TDP of 15 watts. The T470's display is a 14-inch 1080p TN panel, which was a good display for its time. However, compared to modern displays, it's somewhat outdated. In 2025, OLED and HDR displays are the norm, offering much better color accuracy, contrast, and overall picture quality. Modern displays also often have higher resolutions such as 4K or QHD, which provide a much sharper and more detailed image. But let's talk about the keyboard. Why modern keyboards still can't match the typing experience of this classic keyboard. Yeah, it's old school, but I really like typing on this keyboard. Modern keyboards have significantly shorter key travel, which can make typing less comfortable, and some use cheaper materials. And it's impossible to ignore the topic of the track point, which has been a staple of ThinkPad design for years. That little red orb controls the mouse cursor as an alternative to the touchpad, and it has remained a beloved feature for loyal ThinkPad users who have grown accustomed to it. It doesn't look comfortable to me, but I haven't given it a proper try, and I understand people who are used to it and still use it. However, recently Lenovo announced the latest premium ThinkPad X9, in which not only the red track point is gone, but Lenovo has abandoned the familiar black chassis completely, with a silvery aluminum look the sole option. Still, I think it won't be removed on all ThinkPad models, but changes are starting to take shape, and it will be interesting to see how Lenovo evolves the ThinkPad design in the future. In 2025, laptops are thinner than a credit card and about as durable, but the ThinkPad T470, this thing was built to survive a zombie apocalypse. Magnesium skeleton, spill-proof keyboard, hinge that could double as tank treads, it's the Nokia 3310 of laptops. And let's talk ports. While your sleek 2025 Ultrabook needs a dongle just to exist, the T470 has more holes than a conspiracy theory. Ethernet? Check. Full-size SD card? Check. SIM card tray? Check. HDMI, USB Type-A, Type-C? Check. Audio jack? Check. And here's the T470's weirdest feature, this suspicious slot that looks like it's straight out of a 90s sci-fi movie. No, it's not for floppy disks, it's a smart card reader, the corporate world's answer to security before selfies. Back in 2017, this thing was the VIP pass to classified data. In 2025, it's basically a nostalgia button for IT grandpas. But here's the kicker. If you're still using this in 2025, you're either a spy, a dentist's office running Windows XP, or a Reddit hacker who turned it into a Bitcoin wallet. Either way, respect. Let's talk about upgradability. The T470's RAM and SSD are easily upgradable, which is a major advantage over many modern laptops. The T470 has two DDR4 slots supporting up to 32 GB of RAM or 16 per slot. Most models shipped with 4, 8 or 16 GB, leaving room for easy, affordable upgrades. The bottom panel is secured by standard Phillips screws. No prying, glue, or special tools required. Many 2025 Ultrabooks soldered RAM, locking you into the configuration you buy. Upgrading often means buying a new laptop. The T470 supports two types of storage drives, 2.5-inch SATA or M.2 NVMe. You can significantly extend the laptop's lifespan by upgrading rather than discarding it, a practice that is increasingly important in an era of growing e-waste awareness and environmental concerns. The catch is that the T470's RAM runs at DDR4 2400 and its NVMe slot uses PCIe Gen 3 by 2, which is roughly half the speed of modern Gen 4 by 4, but still sufficient for most tasks, especially considering that the CPU is not so fast too. The ThinkPad T470 wasn't just a laptop, it was the end of an era.
It's the end of an era! I know!
After 2017, Lenovo started trimming the fat, thinner designs, soldered RAM, and a new naming scheme that ditched the cryptic numbers for simplicity. The T480 and T490 models were incremental updates to the T470. However, the T14 marked a significant departure from the traditional T-series naming convention. The number reflects the screen size, and generations are now marked with Gen X, for example, T14, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and so on. The T14 is a more streamlined and modern design with a focus on thinner and lighter construction. It might look sleeker, but fans argue it lost the soul of what made ThinkPads legendary. You could take them apart with a screwdriver and keep them alive for a decade. Businesses didn't care though, they kept buying ThinkPads because IT departments could fix them in their sleep, dock them with a single cable, and deploy them to employees working from their couches during COVID. But for the die-hard ThinkPad enthusiasts on Reddit, the T470 is a bittersweet relic. ThinkPads have a cult following, but it's not just nerds on Reddit. In 2025, they are the unexpected heroes for broke students, off-grid nomads, and even eco-warriors. While Apple and Dell chase shiny gimmicks, the T470's fanbase is a weird, wonderful mix of IT warlords, Linux monks, and that one guy who unironically uses a track point to play Doom. They're bonded by a shared love of things that just work, keyboards you can feel, laptops you can fix with a paperclip, and a design that hasn't changed since the Clinton administration. Sure, the ThinkPad beard meme is overdone, but have you seen the ThinkPad subreddit? These people have awesome projects. While the ThinkPad T470 remains a cult favorite for its durability and upgradability, it has significant drawbacks compared to modern laptops in 2025. Its performance is hindered by aging hardware, making tasks like editing 4K video in DaVinci Resolve or running AI tools like ChatGPT locally feel sluggish. Additionally, the laptop is noisy and hot. Even budget 2025 laptops with 12th Gen Intel i3 processors outperform it. The integrated Intel HD 620 graphics are also underwhelming, struggling to handle modern games or GPU-accelerated apps like Blender. Battery life is inconsistent, varying from unit to unit and assuming the battery is present. The display is dated and dim, while the laptop's design is chunky and heavy. The boxy, matte black aesthetic feels out of place next to the sleek minimalist laptops of 2025. If you need strong performance, a long battery life, and are a frequent traveler who requires future-proofing features like Wi-Fi 7 support and compatibility with future Windows 12, this is not the laptop for you. However, if you're looking for a budget-friendly machine for basic use cases like web browsing, office apps, or Linux tinkering, the T470 is a solid option. It's also suitable for DIY projects, offering a cheap and repairable platform for modding or learning hardware repair. Additionally, for those who value nostalgia or collecting retro tech, the T470 will appeal to ThinkPad enthusiasts. The T470 is a time capsule of 2017's compromises. Durable and upgradable, but outgunned by modern laptops in terms of efficiency, performance, and polish. In 2025, it's a tertiary laptop, not a daily driver, unless you prioritize tinkering over cutting-edge technology.